So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to divide polynomials by binomials and polynomials. So polynomial long division is what we're going to be using in all the problems in this lesson. So I've included this slide as a quick reminder of all the steps we use for polynomial long division. So make sure you come back and refer to it if you need a reminder of the steps. So let's go ahead and simplify the problem as shown here. So this is basically going to turn into a long division problem. So I'm going to rewrite this as 12x cubed plus 13x squared minus 13x minus 12 divided by 4x plus 3. So whenever we're doing long division, we're going to look at the first terms. And I'm going to ask myself, 4x times what is going to equal 12x cubed? Well, if I think about it, 4 times 3 is 12. X to the 1 times x squared is equal to x cubed. So up here, I'm going to write 3x squared. And what I need to do now is take that 3x squared and multiply it by the divisor, by that 4x plus 3. When I do that, I'm going to distribute the 3x squared to both terms, so I have 12x cubed plus 9x squared. So I'm going to write 12x cubed plus 9x squared. And what I need to do now is I need to subtract these terms. So to subtract these terms, I'm just going to basically switch the sign and then combine the like terms. 12x cubed minus 12x cubed is 0. 13x squared minus 9x squared is 4x squared. Now I need to bring down the next term, which is a minus 13x. Now I ask myself, 4x times what is equal to 4x squared? Well, 4x times x is equal to 4x squared, so I'm going to write plus x up here. And then I'm going to take x and multiply it by 4x plus 3. When I do that, I get 4x squared plus 3x. And then I'm going to write that here, so I have 4x squared plus 3x. And then I'm going to go ahead and combine these by switching the signs on both. So I have 4x squared minus 4x squared is 0. Minus 13x minus 3x is minus 16x. And now I go ahead and bring down minus 12. And then I ask myself, 4x times what is equal to negative 16x? Well, 4 times negative 4 equals negative 16. And then x is already on both sides, so I don't need to multiply by an x. So I have minus 4. And then I do minus 4 times 4x plus 3. And when I distribute that, I get minus 16x minus 12. And so you can see here, when I subtract minus 16x minus 12, I'm just going to get a remainder of 0. So my final answer is 3x squared plus x minus 4. Now let's try this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and once again rewrite it as long division. So I have 6x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 13x minus 20. And I'm going to divide that by 3x squared plus x minus 4. So the first thing I say is 3x squared times what equals 6x to the 4th? Well, 3 times 2 equals 6. X squared times x squared equals x to the 4th. So I have 2x squared that goes up here. And then I do 2x squared times 3x squared plus x minus 4. And I go ahead and distribute. So I have 6x to the 4th plus 2x squared times x is going to be 2x cubed. Minus 2x squared times minus 4 is going to be minus 8x squared. So I'm going to write 6x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus 8x squared. And then I go ahead and combine these by subtracting. So I switch this to a minus, and then this becomes a minus, and then this becomes a plus. 6x to the 4th minus 6x to the 4th is 0. Minus 4x cubed minus 2x cubed is minus 6x cubed. 5x squared plus 8x squared is going to become plus 13x squared. And then I go ahead and bring down this plus 13x. Now I have to figure out 3x squared times what is equal to negative 6x cubed. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. X squared times x is equal to x cubed. So I write minus 2x up here. And then I do minus 2x times 3x squared plus x minus 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute. And I have minus 6x cubed minus 2x squared plus 8x. And then I go ahead and write that here. So I have minus 6x cubed minus 2x squared plus 8x. And then I combine these by subtracting, which means I'm going to switch all of these signs. So I have plus, plus, and then minus. Minus 6x cubed plus 6x cubed is 0. 13x squared plus 2x squared is going to be 15x squared. 13x minus 8x is going to be plus 5x. And then I bring down this minus 20. And then I say 3x squared times what is equal to 15x squared. 3x squared times 5 is equal to 15x squared. So I'm going to do plus 5. And when I do 5 times 3x squared plus x minus 4, and I distribute, I get 15x squared plus 5x minus 20. So I'm going to go ahead and write that 15x squared plus 5x minus 20. And remember to subtract, I'm going to switch all of these signs. And when I combine this, I have a remainder of 0. So my answer is 2x squared minus 2x plus 5. So now let's go ahead and simplify this by division. So I have 4x cubed minus 2x squared plus 6x plus 7 divided by 2x plus 3. Okay, so now we need to ask ourselves 2x times what equals 4x cubed? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and then x to the 1 times x squared is 4x cubed. So we have 2x squared here, and then I take 2x squared and multiply by 2x plus 3. So when I distribute that, I get 4x cubed and then plus 6x squared. So now I go ahead and combine these, and then I switch these signs to subtraction. So 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0, minus 2x squared minus 6x squared is minus 8x squared. So now what I do is I ask myself 2x times what is equal to negative 8x squared. So 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. X to the 1 times x is x squared. So I have minus 4x, and then I do minus 4x times 2x plus 3, and then I go ahead and distribute this minus 4x. So I have minus 8x squared minus 12x. So here, remember, I need to bring down this plus 6x, and then here I have minus 8x squared minus 12x. And then I subtract by switching the sign, so I'm going to switch these to plus. Minus 8x squared plus 8x squared is 0. 6x plus 12x is 18x. And then I go ahead and bring down my plus 7. And then now I need to say 2x times what is equal to 18x? Well, 2x times 9 is equal to 18x. So I'm going to write plus 9 here, and then I'm going to do 9 times 2x plus 3. And when I distribute, I get 18x plus 27. So I have 18x plus 27, and what I need to do is combine these by subtracting, so I'm going to switch the signs. 7 minus 27 is minus 20, so that means now I have a remainder. Okay, so when I write this final answer, I'm going to write 2x squared minus 4x plus 9, and then plus, I just put my negative 20 in my numerator over 2x plus 3. Okay, so you always put the remainder over the divisor, and that's how you would write this when you have a remainder. Okay, so now let's go ahead and divide this. So here I have to do something different because notice my terms don't go in descending order in my first polynomial, right? So this should be x cubed, and then since there's no x squared term, I have to add in the 0x squared. Then I have minus 5x minus 8. So when I write this as division, I'm going to have x cubed plus 0x squared minus 5x minus 8, and then divided by x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay, so now I say x squared times what is equal to x cubed? Well, x squared times x is equal to x cubed. So I put x up here, and then I do x times x squared minus 2x plus 1. And when I multiply this out, I get x cubed minus 2x squared plus x. So I'm going to write x cubed minus 2x squared plus x right here. And then I go ahead and switch these signs to the opposite. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. 0x squared plus 2x squared is 2x squared. Minus 5x minus x is minus 6x. So now I need to say, well, first let me bring down my minus 8, and I say x squared times what is equal to 2x squared? Well, x squared times 2 is equal to 2x squared, so I'm going to write this 2 up here. And then I'm going to do 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 1. I distribute this 2. And that gives me 2x squared minus 4x plus 2. And so I have 2x squared minus 4x plus 2. And what I do now is I'm going to switch the sign. So this becomes minus, this becomes plus, and this becomes minus. So 2x squared minus 2x squared is 0. And then minus 6x plus 4x is minus 2x. And then minus 8 minus 2 is minus 10. So that actually means I have a remainder now in this problem. So I'm going to write my final answer as x plus 2 plus, and then remember I put my remainder in the numerator, and then I put my divisor in the denominator. So I have x squared minus 2x plus 1. And that is now my final answer.